Hey, thanks, Duda. Thank you, Ornella. I'm so happy to see you all here. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for everybody that was able to make it online as well. I'm going to be very brief here. I know that we're all looking forward to hearing about all the amazing people we have. We're all from Future Hacker Networks as well. And we're going to start with the humans pillar. I'd like to introduce you to Ligia Zottini. Ligia is an old-time future hacker, right, Ligia? You've been with us since the very beginning, I think. She's the founder of Voicers, and they just did this really amazing research about the new humans and about the behavior of new generations. And of course, I'm going to let her do all the talking. Welcome, Ligia. Thank you for joining us, and the stage is yours.
Maria, Future Hackers, it's a pleasure to be here. Technology always plays its part, so we are going to start the conversation, and as soon as we get back, or if it's not there, we are going to keep the topics. The intention here is, as Maria told, I used to work with future scenarios. Since 2016, when I leave IBM, I have here friends from that time. The intention always had been to map in people which consciousness are also in development as much as technology. From technology labs, I could see that from now and up to the past, technology is neutral, but not necessarily it's going to be in the future. If we keep going on bringing machines as much as look-alike humans, and humans being used as machines. So on that perspective, when we start Voicers, there is two pillars: new technology, which everybody is aware of, but there is also new humans. So if I need to say what new humans are, it has been, expanding from the last 6-7 years. But on this new line of study, we understand that new humans are people with more consciousness about themselves. And this personal consciousness usually goes in their environment also. So they have personal consciousness and they have social consciousness. And on that perspective, technology is used in another way, a little bit different than just performance or team performance. So we have here again. So in that perspective, I would like to bring you, let me see just if I can change. Okay. If they are more consciousness, our intention with this line of research is understand how it happens and why it happened. And what we got is, I think if someone can help me, I think it's easier. What happened is, next one, they are not a trend. Usually, as technology comes, we say, oh, this is the new trend technology, but with the human consciousness, it's never a trend. It is a consequence. And a consequence of what? It's working? Okay. A consequence of what? There are many reasons of someone expand their consciousness, but on that study, we'd like to focus on technology and the perma-crisis, which is the many crises we have outside, but also the mental health crisis around the planet. A large part of the population, usually when they are facing challenge outside, they go through only single group of people and usually polarize. And we see that a lot in the world today. But a smaller, but very important and impactful part of the human beings, they go through multiple perspectives. And on this situation, they start exercising self-knowledge, self-development, and by consequence, they present or they live this shift of consciousness inside out. And the main question is what we understand on this study about consciousness. Who are these new humans? Which consciousness are plural, are different, are single, are social, are diverse? We like to use what Ken Wilber usually present to us, the map of consciousness we were presented to us more or less 30 to 40 years ago, bring us as a society from beige, survival, when we're born. Like my 4-year-old girl, usually she's from beige to purple. She's starting going through red, a kind of individualism, which a young kid plays around up to 7. If we are a privileged society or privileged person, we go to orange, which is scientific, success, entrepreneurs, business world, and on that perspective, it's intellectual privilege journey. From here to green, yellow, and turquoise, or teal sometimes, we need to make an exercise of self-development. It's not given, it's developed. So from here to there, if you are privileged, you go through the journey, university, post-graduation, master, and go on. From here to there, it's a new human consequence. We focus on this study on the 3 because they have adjectives, they have qualities we want to test. It's a first wave of a study. So we want to see who are the plural people, who are the echo people, which is pretty much what green on this Ken Wilber perspective goes through. After you go through your diversity or your activism line of speech, line of study, line of living, probably you need to start to go in more development, and you ended up in yellow, which integrates your activism to the real world. We are facing some challenges in diversity and activism because we group ourselves, and sometimes it's pretty hard to talk to people outside their point of view or our point of view, depending on the activism we all go through. Yellow is this flexible, integrative, and go again to business perspective. And the turquoise, it's about people who understand they are physical being, they are psychological being, and they are spiritual beings. So it's the first time we can put together this spiritual energy, invisible layer in consciousness decision in everyday life. So what they say, what can Wilber say? 6% in population and 50% in power are on these 3 last consciousness colors. And it's new, it's more or less 20 to 30 years, it's one generation. Before that generation, which are the adults probably sitting around here today, we usually stop in the orange. Sometimes one another go more green, but pretty much not more than that. So it's a brand new way of living. And in that, we start seeing new ways of existing in business. So new generation, they are bringing new consciousness. Who are working with Z probably are seeing they are different in values. At the end of the day, they come here, they work with us, but they are challenging us in the values they bring. And usually those values, and I'm going to point it out soon, those values are going to also appears again when you start to develop your consciousness. They want more time. They want more flexibility. They have more than one identity, which is not just work or professional identity. They are ecosystemic. They are interconnected. They defend diversity narratives. When you go through a journey of expanding your consciousness, the same values appears again. So that's why we are signing this study. They are coming, we are becoming, because this is an exercise. So new generation, new conscious, expansion of diversity narratives and business transformation are what we call in future scenarios the signs, strong signs around us that something's changing. And we, the brands, we, the leaders, we, the professionals, are also looking at this. So this is our hypothesis. This is a study, and probably you're going to need 1 or 2 decades to see if this is going to move. But our hypothesis, our bet is new generations coming. If Z is shaking around, we need to see when alpha comes, because they are the first generation whose parents respect them from the beginning. We are not prepared to people which respect is the base of the relationship. So if Z, it's something shocking us, waiting for the alphas. And that perspective, new generations plus expansion of diversities plus business in transformation equal potential for consciousness change. And this line of study aims the leadership, the big companies, because leadership in big companies, they have big powers, big power of changing a lot of lives. So we are focused on orange consciousness, which is 50% in power and 30% in population. And this is the amount of people where mental health, burnout, they are looking for, propose, their identity at work, what's true for them. They are highly privileged. And there is an emptiness inside on the orange people, mainly on the women. My partner in this study, Tanya, she has a company called Inner. So she works mainly with C-level, women C-level. If company knew how many women C-level are doing B-plan to leave the leadership, they would be shocked. C-level women in leadership nowadays. So they are coming, we are becoming, and it's a spiral of changing. If technology and permacrisis come to us and made some new humans, we are gonna go through this. More technology is coming next 20 years, we all know. If two technology, big data and mobile phones did all this change to us, and propose consciousness is not disconnected of the windows, the mirrors we have in our pockets, it's truly connected. Can we imagine at least 7 big tech or big technologies that are developing, mature in the next 2-3 decades? So more technology, it's gonna free time or freeing up time, giving us time back. Then work is gonna change. Then we are gonna have more time to this self-development. Then consumptions change when we get this truly investigation of our internal being. Then ecosystem is gonna change. So in this study, we went through very important voices that we are going to show at the end, which are experts on these 3 areas, plus technology. But the first one is time, because technology needs to give us time back, needs to free up time. I don't know if you are all aware of pilots like 4 days week. In Brazil, we just finished this, like the week of 4 days and the weekends of 3 days. Renata Rivet is the leader of this project. She's in the study, pretty close to us on this perspective. All the flexibility we are all thinking about. Maybe it's not removing the Friday. Maybe it's just giving the people flexibility of have more time to get to know, to get to contact, to, I don't know, healing some perspective inside. And in the study, we bet in 3 technology: generative AI, of course, the immersive reality, and hypermobility. Here we have Claudio Pinhaes, the AI scientist. I know he's a future hacker too. Immersive reality, we have Rodrigo Terra, one of the voices we have for immersive technology in the whole Americas. And hypermobility, we interviewed the president of Hyperloop Latin America. And all of them are pretty unanimous or in telling we need to have this time back to humanity. When Hyperloop connects São Paulo, Rio, I just arrived from Rio. In 12 minutes, what we are gonna do with the time that we're gonna save from all the logistics and all the day by day in the work. In that, I would like to leave one provocation at the end of the 4 main areas we are talking about our spiral. So far, we have used technology to increase performance. And we have generated significant infrastructure progress. What if we use technology to generate substantial progress in consciousness? The second is work. The adjective for work is flexibility. We are not asking for cut it off one day of work. It doesn't work. We need to rethinking our way of work. If AI is going to do part of the job, if hypermobility is going to move things and people and objects and food faster, if a digital layer, call it immersive, it's going to come to us and bring real things closer and closer and faster, what humans are going to do? I never read things about this in the main news. We need to imagine every time about it. I know we are here with the futuristic colleagues, and it's hard for us because we need to always imagine. If you turn on your Netflix, 99% of the narratives is great technology with horrible people. None of the narratives brings normal people, me, you, people who are trying our best version using technology. This is a lot. People have their mind populated with this topic every time. They cannot imagine anything else. So, I would like to rephrase that work is not just flexibility, is also the multiple identities that we need to let come up in our lives. For so long, your job defined who you are, who am I. And on that perspective, we need to bring not just a full person at work, which is the claim of many diversity narratives, but we need also have more time to live other identities than not just work. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, which is a privileged journey. When I have time to be a mother, 2 hours per night, few hours at the weekend, and then I need to be a mother, a friend, a wife, a teacher, a sister. It's a lot to be struggle in few hours around the 40 hours I need to deliver working. So I love this quote from Keynes. Keynes is the father of microeconomy, and he quoted in the 1930s. The people of the future, us, 100 years almost, would only need to work 15 hours a week to keep the same productivity. He did not know. Yes. What happened? That's why we speeded up so much the development. That was great. We created amazing machines. We are in the middle of big revolutions. We have the planet connected. But I work with time literacy. And I arrive in a company and I can find 5 decades between teams. There are people in the 90s where all the boxes were organized and the time were very slow. And I have people in the 40s, 2040s. So I have 50 years between colleagues. It's not possible to work on that thing. If we speed up time and put more work in the same 8 hours per day, 5 days a week, probably we're gonna end up in 2050 with 100 years of difference between people if they are not updating themselves. Not only in technology, because in the human pillars, people have more difficult to update themselves in diversity, in mental health, in psychological safety, in all these narratives that are really important to keep humans. So, my provocation. So far, work has been synonymous of wealth creation and the unique identity for most of individuals, okay? How would it be if work was synonymous for consciousness creation while continuing to live wealth, but with multiple identities? The next one is consumption. And my partner is pretty much an expert on this too. Tanya always like to make the reflections about whatever you put your money, you are agreeing and reinforcing and, make that living, existing, agreeing with that existency. So truth, when you have more time, more flexibility, you go to know yourself, your consciousness expand and all that journey, probably you're going to be a more truth person. First with yourself, then with your values, and that it's going to translate in what you consume. What you eat, what you listen, what you watch, what you wear, everything's going to be around that. And we need to go through transparency too. What is essential? That level of consciousness, they don't buy using the trigger. I was from marketing, part of my career, and we used to work with trigger message. These kind of people, they don't buy triggers. They buy what they want because they are conscious on what they need. So it's a different conversation. It's a different narrative. They are very powerful when they really believe in your brand. So far organizations have taught us about mass consumption, which is often characterized by excess and accumulation. How would it be if organizations promoted and thought new forms of consumption based on transparent, through, and sufficiency? Ecosystem is the last one. I love this because all the ideal world nowadays is about human-centric. Let's do about human-centric, talk about human-centric, product based on human-centric. These people, these new humans, they are not about human-centric. They are about life-centric. Life's in the center. There is the people rights, but there is the river right. There is the forest right. There is the whole ecosystem right. Are we ready for all these rights? So far, organizations have operated under the logic of human at the center, exploiting the planet and its ecosystem in the name of progress. What would organizations look like if they operated under the logic of life-centric, generating and preserving essential ecosystem for the planet? We like to say here, if a company plays by the life-centric perspective, if the company disappeared, the planet loses. And in a summary, technology freeing up time for consciousness expansion, then work supporting flexibility in choices and identities, consumption promoting truth in human exchange, and ecosystem fostering regeneration and not just sustainability. Sustainability is not enough. We need to get back to better matrix of life. Maria, Andrea, I think we are good here with the summary. There is more. It's a huge study, but I think we have the summary here, and I'm going to put at the last slide so you can see all the takeaways, because it's just a summary. And if you want to see all the people, oops, I think the last one, if you could help me, you have the QR code for the study, and I think we can open up for the panel and we can discuss and keep up the conversations. I think it's the last slide where you have the QR code, please. And but that's just the first waves. We need and we want to identify the new humans people and the new human zone and all the team leaders and organizations who identify themselves with this kind of perspective. We have a podcast, Tanya, called New Humans, with this S in the end. And you can see deeper conversations. We have been interviewing leaders from big brands who already play according to these new values and conscience. Thank you.
Thank you. Ah, quer falar de você?